Agatha episode 3 was amazing, and we're going to talk about what possibly could be episode 4 and if you missed these couple things from episode 3. But first, let's roll the intro. Last night, we lost possibly one of the greatest characters in all of fiction. Mrs. Hart. Or Sharon. But we're going to get into the video and how possibly her death hints at there's going to be a lot more deaths in the trials and tribulations of what they have forward, and how Agatha probably kept out a couple of details. And with a quick recent review and reveal with Funko Pop, which I actually said a couple weeks ago if you follow me on the other social medias, let's get into it, because apparently those rumors were correct. So without further ado, let's start off with this. So Sharon died in episode 3. And apparently that was Jennifer Kale's trial, the Witch of Healing. And it showed she can do all that without her magic. As she stated before, she could wave her hand, but now it's more difficult. And he took my power, which was a hint towards Mephisto, or at least that's what we assume. Well, the next episode, obviously, is going to start off. They're going to bury Mrs. Hart, like I showed in the intro. Rio's going to come out of the dirt, and she's going to claim she's the Green Witch. But how did Rio get there is the big question, and I think that's where the Funko Pop leads. She says she's the Green Witch, and we were hinted that the Scarlet Witch and Rio don't need a coven, whatever you like to call it. Sorry. But the coven, they don't need them to get to the Witch's Road. They can do it alone, which is why I think something was a lot more fishy in the earlier episodes. So, Rio pops in. Obviously, if you know by now, she's Lady Death. Big surprise, Lady Death. I'll put the picture up where that's probably the view right there. She has that dagger. We've seen it in pictures that I've been posting on Twitter. Been hearing rumors, been talking to certain people and whatnot, and, just been hearing about all that. So, with that being said, I think the next episode, we're going to lose the Blood Witch. Once again, I don't know their names. I know there's Jennifer Kale. I know that there's Agatha. I know that there's Wiccan, who put the spell on himself, by the way. If you want further details on that, check out my other socials. I talk about it a lot, actually. And how we were given a first look at Death in her skeletal form during their hallucinations in episode 3. But I think the big thing is, if you guys notice this poster right here, it shows the certain characters, and I think the ways on their deaths. Now, obviously, in the next episode, we know that we are going to learn about the 70s, and they get all their new outfits. We've already seen the teaser. And the girl on the far right, over here, which is my left, your right, she's dying next. I'm almost guaranteeing it. This is really reminding me a lot of like Saw 6, I think it was, where they were all in a room, and you found out together they manipulated, took the money, screwed over people, and then burned down the building and kill all those people. And you realize that these trials and tribulations were about the 6, and essentially killing off each other. They ruined their chances of surviving because they each had to give a pint of blood. It's kind of like how this is going. Like, they weren't thinking about Mrs. Hart or Sharon. Sharon died. Next would be the next girl with the mom, learning her mom's whole thing. Then she dies. And then you go over to the fortune teller, and I'm assuming she's going to die. Jennifer Kale's going to die. And then I'm assuming that's when Aubrey Plaza is going to reveal that she's Lady Death, and she can't die. Obviously, she's the all-powerful Lady Death. The, I don't know what you'd call it. She taught Thanos about death, I guess you could say, and made him fall in love with her, then fell in love with Deadpool, and so on and so forth. And it's going to be a big reveal, because obviously, once again, if you look at the poster, once Wiccan's revealed, and then Agatha and Rio, you're going to realize that, yes, Agatha gave up her child for the Darkhold. Did she give it to Chthon? Did she give it to Mephisto? What exactly was the reason that she did that? And then obviously it's going to go into that. There's obviously a flashback episode where it's going to be from the different point of view of Wiccan's point of view, where when he died, The body died, and then he was in the hex. His soul was wandering. It went into the body. I'm also claiming that Wanda's consciousness is going to be at the end of the Witch's Road, and once they get there, it kind of unlocks it, and she's going to go into the body of Virginia in Vision Quest. That's my guess. But as for the show, dude, it's amazing. I don't get how people are hating. I don't get how people are clowning. Like, you know, there's certain YouTubers and whatnot that just rage bait. You know, they're a fairly newer YouTuber, if you know who I'm talking about. Certain ones of you should know who I'm talking about. But I'm definitely getting the whole, you know, Agatha, I don't really feel like ever wanted to come to the Witch's Road. I feel like she was just trying to, once again, corner them all and have them blast her with their powers so she could outbattle the Salem 7. But obviously they ended up there. We don't know how, because there wasn't actually a full coven. But the door opened. Was Rio pretending to be Sharon? Was Rio in the background and maybe opened it up? And we're going to see from her perspective, kind of like in the episode Agatha All Along in WandaVision. We don't know. All I know is this show just keeps getting better. I gave last night an 8.5 out of 10. The first 2 episodes I've given an 8 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. Love the show. Without further ado, that's all I really had to talk about. I just thought I would do a little recap because obviously I like to keep you guys up to date. I really enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed their teamwork, and I'm just waiting to see how maybe at the end Agatha is going to become a little more heartfelt, where, you know, she's losing all these people, but she's starting to gain trust in them. How she told Jennifer Kale how she respects her. That's why she didn't come after her and whatnot, because she respects what she's doing. And she's going to constantly, and then at the end, I think she's going to take Wiccan as her adopted son, pretty much replacing Nicholas. That's what I think, at least. So let me know what you guys' thoughts. Did you guys enjoy it? Who do you think is next to die in the show? And obviously with this picture right here, you see Agatha and Wiccan are the only 2 left. They're obviously going to be the last 2. But the thing I'm wondering is, what is Agatha going to actually wish for at the end? Obviously, building down to the show is her powers, but I think she's going to get her powers before, as we saw in a trailer, all the witches zapping her. And I want to know what exactly Wiccan's going to unlock. Obviously, he wants powers, but let's be real, he knows a lot more than he's leading on. It's obviously a trick. I'll catch y'all in the next one.